Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in for a quick webinar today morning. I'm all excited to be a part of a very exciting topic as well. Um, and I wish that we have a lots of takeaways and please note down your questions for end of this webinar. Thank you so much. Before I actually start on moving my slides with regard to what exactly a word mojo would mean, because I'm sure a lot of the eyes would have been caught up with the word for mojo. Let me introduce myself. My name is Manorama Kulkarni. I hail from North Karnataka, very small town. I will give you a little bit of story, which is my usual style when I go as a speaker for various sessions or I'm on a webinar offline as well. And this story is relating to the word mojo and why I say so. Right. So I come from a world of scarcity, and why I call it a scarcity. I hail from a very small town, Whitechor, where as a child, 12 years to 18 years, we would walk up to the water well and draw up to three pots of water to get a drinking water, which is clear and hygiene to enable us to go to our schools and colleges. I will leave you with that thought that why I'm talking about scarcity today and why is it important to create that mojo back in our day-to-day life. With that, let me start on with my first introduction and the storytelling continues here. Last week, I had a very good opportunity to watch one of the documentary movie called Insane. Now, the Insane is a word which would mean the sea within. A lot of us, in the quest of our life, wonder that what is our soul search. So this documentary movie, I would like to really mention, is not anything to do with the women empowerment or equality or anything to do with a career or a motivation. The reason why I quote them, and again I want to park this with all the audience here, is because we are talking so much about the movie. Remember, and what is that prompting all of us today to be more energetic, motivated, and stay alive in our day-to-day life, which talks briefly about the borderless nature of the inner world, a consistently moving world of visions, feeling, and imagination beyond words. Why are we talking about the vision beyond words? Right? It can mean to see within and connect beyond the horizons. Now, we are talking so much about connecting in the past couple of minutes where I spoke. So we were talking about the insight and the progress about how we see a world inside us to be connected with the external world. The movie talks more about connecting one's soul to the external world digitally and practically in all the parameters. The intent of having this as a base for my talk is the connection, the mojo what we spoke in the past couple of minutes. I would like all of us to dwell more about connecting to the external world throughout the next 45 minutes and how it's important for us to stay network very closely and especially the trusted network. I would like us to pause this inside movie for a question and answer session as well if you want to dwell more about what it has. What is in the mojo? Most of us, in the day-to-day work, we encounter issues, challenges, juggling millions of things, personal, professional, running on the same spot, trying to make it happen despite of all the odds. Is it negative or is it a positive energy which drives us towards what we do? It's just not a professional achievement, but also a lot to do with the personal and the emotional connects. My next couple of slides, and I will dwell more about how we can create this self mojo environment, enabling us to come back to work when we have taken a break. I was talking to one of my friend last week, and we caught up with a coffee after a long time. She's my childhood friend, and one of the constant interactions and constant agenda of the topic is, hey, it's perceived that we have lost a confidence and lost a skill set when we go for a career. To the audience here, I've had a career breaks in the recent past. I've had my friends who are relatively in a leadership roles and continue to be in a leadership roles in past 20 years and plus have taken a career breaks for various reasons, whether it is a maternity break, a travel break, a care break, whatever reasons for the breaks. So I'm going to be talking a lot about this perceived loss skill and confidence game plan. I would also want to remind the audience that we have a roadshow coming up later part of the November, which Gayatri will announce the details and end of this session, where I'm going to be talking a lot about whether we actually lose our skill set because of the career break, and is it so important that we call it out loud on our profiles or resume when we are writing them or coming back to the workplace. Now, the entire game plan about losing the skill set. I have a thought process. I have a very strong belief in it, especially for people who are in a more technology driven domain specifics. Number one, it's a myth. And I'm a strong believer that there is no lost skill set because of one's career. I strongly believe so because I have gone through those career breaks myself, and it's very important and positive when I come back to re articulate those to the recruiters who have recruited me, and also to build those networkings, trusted networkings when we came back to the workplace. Now, how do we do that? How do we convince that there is no skill set lost? There are a lot of factors when we go on a career break. It could be at a very interim level, which would mean that I've just joined the organization and I have to take a break for my maternity or childcare or a travel, or my spouse got transferred to any other organizations or a city. Then I choose a path to support my spouse or my brother or my family to take up something else. There could be any various reasons. Now, the lost skill set perceived with any of the recruiters or the organization is mere with the fact that we are not calling it out loud in our resumes or the CV, that what we have done in the past while we are taking career break, and reinvent those words or key strings, enabling them to understand, hey, these are the five things or top three skill set which I did in the past, and I bring to the table these domain expertise. It's also about letting them know the projects, the initiatives which one has worked during the career break. Building the game plan to tell them that skill set lost once gained is impossible. I have a very classic example when I say very positive about that nobody can lose a skill set when they acquire. And I always take this example when I go for any of the speaker session is about a woman doctor. And I make a fun and little bit of humor that how I wish that a gynecologist who's a lady lost all her skill set to deliver a baby if she took a break, for a travel or maybe took a break to support her family. It doesn't happen like that. So it's a perceived loss skill. It's up on the confidence, it's up on the resume there to tell people, tell the world that these are the skills that I bring to. The next two aspects are confidence and the game plan. Most of us are dodged with thought process, and I use the word dodged very, very carefully because I think when we come back to the workplace, the confidence plays a very important role as to what exactly we are looking. Two things which I showcase on the slide pack today are focus and curiosity mindset. Now, the confidence relativity has so much to do with the focus. When I say focus, when we think of coming back to workplace after a legitimate career break, the purpose and intent we put across to the recruiter, recruiting manager, or consultant is very, very important to build the confidence that, hey, she had a skill set. She took a break for a reason where she also upskilled herself during the break, and hence there's a purpose and intent for me to hire back. Building that confidence on the resume more than ourselves is very important to convey a message that you are ready to be hired. Curious mindset and learning mindset. There are so many parallel courses and certifications which most of us have taken while on a career break. The confidence game plan is just putting that across either when you're called for an interview or in the resume saying that, hey, I have done 3 projects while I was on a break, or I have done XYZ things where I have showed my interest to keep in touch with the technology, what is happening around me, yet have taken a career. I think these are the two aspects of a confidence game plan to let the recruiter, recruiting manager know that you are still in touch with the world while there is a perceived loss. The last one, which is my favorite as well, and most of them agree with me when I talk about this, is trust your instinct. Most highly underrated business skills is that. I think it's a more valuable valuable and it's more perceived and it's more important that women carry instincts, which is very strong will and 100% is a successful instincts whenever you apply it when you're going out for a call for or interviews. Trust on it and act on it because these are the instincts which you've been working before as well. Nothing changes. Nothing has changed, in fact, because of the career break. It's just that you deserved a time off, and we took a time off for a reason which is most valuable for all of us to move ahead in the life. I will relate back this slide to my story, which I started with Insay as a movie, a documentary movie, and I think most of you will be very interested in knowing a spelling of the movie. It's INNSAAEI, Insay, The Power of Intuition, it says, and it's available on Netflix. So the mojo factor, what I started my talk points and the discussion is so related to the oneself. I spoke a lot about lost and found soul. I spoke a lot about connecting with the world. I spoke a lot about bringing back the energy when we start all new. Now, there are three major takeaways and three major factors to it. One is about self-management. Now, when I talk about self-management, often I think I do not want to sound generalizing, but it's so imperative that we get self-organized when we want to make a comeback to the career, whether it's technical, non-technical, or any of the work stream where we have left the career for. Would it mean that I'm organizing to get the information about, hey, what happened after I left in the organization, or connecting back to people whom you worked with in the past, leaving a note to the employer whom you worked in the past, or gathering a self-awareness as to if I restart again, what are the impacts from a personal standpoint, number two, from a financial standpoint, number three, from a social standpoint. And having that self-awareness is very critical for all of us who wish to come back from a career break. The second one is very close to my heart again is strategies to maximize it. The entire gamut of talking about the mojo and a documentary movie about Insane, which speaks about finding your soul, and also talking about what is your mojo factor, right, is basically to entail us to find ourselves more energetic and maximize on those energies. What drives you positive every day morning? What drives you to attain that positive energy in the morning? Is it a cup of coffee, as simple as possible? Or is it calling your favorite friend who is so motivated in the morning to say what happened yesterday? Or writing a blog or watching something very positive in in a Netflix? It could be smallest thing to the more strategic and more intellectual as well, like taking up upskilling courses or maybe upskilling long-term goals for yourself, which can energize you to come back from. There are a lot of strategies. There are a lot of energy builders out there which can help us to come back and seek a positive mojo to come back to work. Now, how does it transform to our benefits? Is implementing and actioning on that, which is going to be my next coming slides as well. The third one in this slide is maximizing the priorities. I'm sure all of us agree that we are in a rush world, especially for mothers to be or mothers here in the webinar or people who are having an active family life and otherwise the singles as well because we have a lot of social priorities. Maximizing the priorities after we choose to come back from a career break can be a overwhelming factor for all of us. Why is that? Is because we make this conscious decision to come back to workplace and give our best shot. Now, there could be a laundry list where we want to make ourselves relating to the self-management strategies to maximize my energy, which can in turn give you what is my priority for the day, how can I make it happen about a career break and a comeback, and how to list down my priorities. These are the compelling factors one will look for when we're talking about motivation, the mojo, the insight factor, and the soul quotient for leveling up all the energies which we need for making a very good comeback in our careers. We spoke a lot about action refill. When we speak about the mojo factors, when we speak about, hey, I need energy, I need a motivation, I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm all motivated, come on, I'm all returning to the work now, I have my offer letter in my hand. Is it enough for me, really, that we do have a mojo factors, but not implementing it accordingly or implementing it right away. I have friend of mine whom I met up today morning who called that, hey, Manorama, I'm finding it extremely difficult. I was all motivated and I started a good start after I came back from US, but somehow I'm not able to crack it up every day in my office. There's a lot of work in the office. I constantly find myself burning out in the evening. I have to go back. I have my priorities. What happened to the mojo? Where did we leave our mojo when we restart our careers after all the enthusiasm and energy we have gained with a lot of efforts? So this is a factor which impacts most of us when we want to make a career restart with the mojo. So the point is, when we have already received the mojo, sustainability is one of the important factors which I wanted to call out for this slide pack. The first one with Thomas Jefferson: do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act on it. Action will delineate and define all of us, which would also mean that sustained energies, motivated energies, which cannot sustain, can either way lead to success or otherwise delay success. So it's important to have a sustained mojo and just not a spark on the pan, which is just for a minute. I often get this question as to what are the important listings that one should be looking at when they're making come back to professional careers after the break. So these are the commoners, I would say. Most of us are aware about it. But maybe I'll talk about few and touch and brush on few things which are most important for all of us, to stay connected and the sustained models. When we say about take a stock of your skill set, now there are two facets of it. One is about what is the stage of a career one is in right now, whether it's a middle, senior, junior, etc., and have a skill self assessment completed before we even plan to come back to the career. Now, these are the listers which I'm talking even before I float my resume to the external world. It's very important to have a self assessment done and arrive at a focal point where I say, hey, this is what I want to do next after I've taken a break. This makes more meaningful for me to put across in my profile to let the person know that this is what I intend to do next. This is also clubbed with the factor how the external environment has changed. What would this mean again? Is that when we take a break, and I want to give you a very classic example, is I changed my domain from banking to financial services when I was in the middle management level. I moved out of an active banking role. I was with ICICI Bank for long years, heading credit and technology for them in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka division, and wanted to explore my opportunity with ITES industries, which included a lot of information about how the service-enabled system worked in those days. This was a lot of change in myself, trying to understand about enabled services, what it means to me, how the enabled services connect with the banking financial system, because I wanted to make a comeback to the financial services, but in a different avatar. This was just an example. So, what's the new factor need to be considered before you actually make a comeback? How the world around you has changed for the skill set, what you attain it. Do you need to upskill? Do you really need to upskill, or do you need to really articulate the skill what you already have? Those are the factors which come into picture for what's new. Leaning in to reduce the skill gap. Often, we are more humble and honest while writing the profile. And I'm smiling when I talk this because I know most of us agree that it's a. I hate to call the gender quotient here, but I will call it out. So with the due permission with all of you all, that we write upfront about the breaks what we have taken and what we deserved in the past. Avoid being upfront about the break. Bring in the boldness about the initiatives and the projects which you have taken during the career break. That makes your resume more interesting. That makes it more compelling for the recruiter to know that, hey, this is what she's done by this career break. Leaning is not about letting them know what you did not know, did not do it. Leaning in is about letting the person know what we did while we were enjoying it. The next one, which is very interesting in connecting back to the Mojo factors and the movie, documentary movie, which I referred was networking. Now, I want to tell you a very funny incident. I get few of the resumes to place. I'm a more networking person. I do have a lot of friends in Bangalore and US as well when I came back from US. Um, so they write one word. Please enclosed find my profile for any openings which is in Bangalore or United States. I'm expecting maybe somebody to ask, hi, Manorama. Very good morning. How are you doing today? So please find enclose my this thing. I'm so and so. I live in the trusted networking plays a greater aspect in network. When we call out networking, when we say communication, when we say connecting with the external world, it has so much to do with your personal connect. It has so much to do with your trusted ability to connect with a person, whether it is physically meeting with a person or virtually connecting. All through my career, I have seen that this plays a very important role, especially when you create the inner circle, right? There is outer circle and there is the inner circle. And that's how the big organizations have been innovated or created as well. The network is something which I truly bank on because you have created yourself a trusted mentor, a trusted person, a trusted friend, a trusted neighbor, whom you can say that, hello, I am so and so, and you're fine to be so and so. You're not feeling uncomfortable being oneself. That is a trusted network. I encourage myself and I excuse myself to be who I am today and what I believe I am in today. That is a trusted network. Trusted network is therefore very important than just doing a network without any focus or any touch point on a personal level. I also want to let you know that in the recent past, there are wonderful people whom I've connected with across industry, the wonderful leaders whom I've connected across industry, whether it is Bangalore, outside Bangalore, India, or outside India. I want to really let it out very loud that it's not always about a job. It's not always about what's in it for me. It's always about how they're doing, what are they doing in their life, what are the priorities as well. It is not always about my priority. That creates a trusted. And the next one, which is building an online presence, all of us need to understand today's digital connect world and the ability to connect faster, quicker, accurate way to the entire world. I'm sure comparatively what we started our career with for all the baby boomers, I call myself a baby boomer, I'm sorry, with all the 70s born profiles here are. So I think we have an ability to build online presence now better than what we did in the past. Leverage them. We have all the digital presence, be it the LinkedIn, social media connect, Twitters, Facebooks of the world, and all websites. Jobs for her is doing a great job in connecting people who want to come back to work as well. So leverage them to the maximum to ensure that the career breaks are seen as more a life-changing game plan, a mojo to come back to work than actually saying that, oh, you had a career. Deal with the resume gap. We spoke about a lot about gap and how you want to show a project's boldly than actually showing the gap boldly. There is only one bullet point, and this is basically I wanted to call it out that when we are talking so much about mojo, when we are talking about how can somebody impact and get impacted to come back to work and sustainability, emotional balance, all our emotional balance. This is not a technical or a tactical balance what we're talking about. This is more to do with the practice of it. It's more of a potential and expected change what we all are planning to get back when we think about a career break, when we have a compelling practice to come to work post our legitimate breaks. Creating this mojo is just not about a professional attire what we wear. It's also about emotional quotient what we wear on our intellectual abilities. It's about how you think every day in the morning. It's how you act based on the emotional balance versus the tactical balance, which is more technology driven, which is more skill driven. I was more faster than what I could imagine. I still have 30 more minutes, but I'm open for Q&A. And I would also want to encourage all of us to see the documentary movie, which I mentioned. This is a very good documentary movie. I really want to insist and let everyone know this is not about empowerment of women, this is not about equality, but so much to do with how to find your soul searching, how to stay connected with the external world, how to stay motivated and create back that mojo, right? R3 Roadshow is happening 25th of November, and Gayatri, you can correct me if my sense of calendar is absolutely right. I would encourage all of us to be part of that. I'm going to be talking a lot about how the perceived skill and confidence is perceived differently because of the career break, and how can we kill that myth together by connecting together with the world and stay connecting for better off when we come back to career. I will pause by to take any questions, please.
Thank you, Manorama. That was a wonderful session. Um, well, we have a question. We have one request from Kavya asking you to repeat the name of that movie. She was not
I
able
will
to
do
hear
so.
you.
So I will do so, and I will spell it out for benefit of all. It is insane. It's a ancient Icelandic word of intuition. So I will spell it out. Innsai.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next question is from Ipsita, who says, myself, Ipsita, have been into risk management, was senior credit manager for 4 years in NBFC, added strategies to the company, now 8 years gap, who want to restart my career, upskilling in CFP. What other course should I do to upskill myself in risk management? And CFP is into wealth management. Which companies can be helpful to me?
Wonderful and lovely. It's a very great and intelligent question, I must say. A, credit management is a very niche area, and good job in keeping yourself, intact with the domain requirement. I must congratulate you on that. You can look for options called governance risk compliance certifications online, which is given by OECD. Um, and if you just Google up, or if you write back to me after taking the email ID from the presenter here or from the moderator here, I can guide you through a couple of certification courses for governance, risk, and compliance for credit management. I need to also understand what kind of security systems or security management that you have worked in the past so that I can guide you apart from GRC, which is governance risk compliance certification. There could be any other certification which could be beneficial for you. I would encourage you to send me your profile so that I can guide you or mentor accordingly about the certification, which might be helpful for you to make a comeback. Thank you.
Any other questions, ladies? If you would like to ask a question, you can unmute your line as well. We have a question from Deepika at the moment. Deepika is saying, after being in a sabbatical for 8 months, I will be joining back my organization in 2 weeks. Due to personal reasons, I have completely lost that touch of professional style. Any words?
I'm sorry, Gayatri, I can barely hear you. Apologies for that. Yeah, I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Rajeshri, I will just mute your line for now because we're getting some disturbance because of your background noise. Okay, so I'm going to read that out again. Deepika is saying, after being in a sabbatical for 8 months, I will be joining back my organization in 2 weeks. Due to personal reasons, I have completely lost touch of professional lifestyle. Any words for me in this?
Deepika, firstly, congratulations. You made a first step boldly to come back to work, and there's nothing big than thinking to make a comeback. So you should be very proud about yourself of having thought to make a comeback. So congratulations, and I think most of them agree on that. A big round of applause for you from my end. Now, I'm not sure what you meant when you said I have completely lost that touch of professional lifestyle. Did you mean the look and feel about your physical appearance, or did you mean the professional touch in terms of your skill set or the office manners? All the three should not bother you now because you have worked already. So it remains the same. The only thing what I can think about that you should be well prepared is about your skill set, the day-to-day work. That's all I think I can give you advice on. That brush up your skills, what you have already done, put up that smile, what you already did in the past, and continue to work and continue to do a good job which you've been doing in the recent past. Uh, you should not be feeling having lost the touch of professional lifestyle, because you have never lost it just because you took a career break. You just took a time off for yourself, which is a motivating factor for you to come back to work with more energy and more smile on your face. Yes.
Thank you. So Rajeshri, I've just unmuted your line. You can come forward and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for you guys to organize this kind of a program. And basically, I am from an IT industry who have worked with more than 2 to 3 IT industry as a process manager for having 13 plus years of experience. And I've taken a break for my son's exams. That's 10th standard, so it's more than 1.5 years. I'm planning to return back, but I'm not actually seeing any kind of opportunities coming up. In the sense, I have put it in a Naukri and then try to contact different friends and things like that. There's a lot of recession. I don't know it's a recession or people are getting thrown out from different companies. It's a wrong timing that I have taken a break is what I'm feeling. So now I'm really not. It's only the opportunity which I feel that I'm looking out. Can you? What is your suggest on that?
Yeah, I would request a mute if that's all right. Thank you so much. So that is a great question. And it takes a lot of courage to ask a straight question. So congratulations that you asked them, and I'm sure that others will have similar apprehensions as well. So a very valid question there. Now I will try to answer in twofold. One is about how we have floated our resume. Maybe we want to go back and check on if we have really call it out saying a career break, or do we want to let the recruiter know what we have done so far during our career break? That's very important. In my session, I spoke a lot about bringing in that element of upskilling, bringing in the element of the project details which we have done. It's a legitimate break. Everyone takes a break for the family priorities, but there are few things which we might have done while we have taken a break. So I think calling it out loud makes it a less painful resume for a recruiter to know that there was only a break, but yes, she has done XYZ projects. I think I will encourage you to go ahead and put them in your CV. Number two is about where you're looking for and how you're looking for. Number two, what I understand of you is you were in a management role, middle management role. So are you looking for the same, or are you looking comfortable to do something different than what you've been doing, right? I go back and relate to my point when I started as to skill set assessment and also energizing yourself to change, right? So, do we really want to stick to what we've been doing in the past, or our ability to change has diminished because we have taken the career break? So, I cannot answer that. The reason because what really helped is to assess and demarcate as to what is your skill set in a 4 quadrant. And again, I would encourage you to send your profile to me. I will try to help you with the various job websites where you do have a very openings only for women managers and women openings in all the websites today. That is a benefit what you get, in today's world. I would want to discount the word recession here. I do know it's a slowdown, and it is not because of the recession. I really want to give this information very, very important for all of us to know, so that we are not demotivated, with the myth that it's a recession. We are going through a December time frame, which is a time frame of holidays for most of the global, MNCs or people who work across the globe, just not in India. It's a year closing for most of the books of accounts and ledger accounts for most of the industries. Hence, the recruitments, because of the cost implications, can go a little slower, but this is not a showstopper. Now, to answer your question and to motivate all others and myself as well, the job changes and the the relative changes what you see is because of the skill set. I do hear that people were asked to leave the organization. I do also acknowledge the fact that people have taken a different role. Is because of the objective changes in the organization where the senior management has thought about it. Uh, the fiscal year starts now, which is running to the next quarter, and people have identified their goals and balanced scorecard for the next coming year, which would mean that they're planning to put the resources and plan it accordingly. On a positive note, they have a lot to offer for a newbies and the returners as well. So hold on to that. I would really encourage you to go to the job website where you see the lot of churning happening in the organization. Keep your eyes open on a LinkedIn, Monsters of the World, Naukaris of the World. Apart from that, you have many more websites catering only for the women comebackers. Please send me your resume. I should be able to give you tips on a couple of the websites where women middle management hirings are happening. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question is from Meghna, who says, I have worked in Java J2EE in TCS for 8 years. Now on a break for 4 years, learned German and did try to keep up with newer technologies. What would be the best way to try enter the development field? How uh, should I show I can still quickly adapt to coding in a new job?
Right. I'm assuming that you've done everything you can to update your profile with the upskill, and congratulations. Not many of us have energies to upskill ourselves after senior management level. So, good job on upskilling yourself and keeping yourself updated with the latest technology and the requirements. I would want you to really encourage your profile to be routed through the leading portals. A. Number two, start building your connects where you started your work with. TCS has acquired a new client. ES Chakravarti is a person who's heading the center. I would encourage you to please meet up with him. Again, please send me your profile. I can do much to refer. However, I think the majority of your skill set is in technology side, so it should not stop you from reaching the other organizations like Accentures of the world and Cognizance of the world as well. I hope this helps. You have any specific questions? Feel free to ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, the next one,
Hello.
yeah, who's that?
I have a question. Can I ask? My name is Vidya.
Yes, Vidya, go ahead.
Manorama, I've been working remotely from past 2 years, and I've worked on good projects. Initially, I was with General Electrics and GlaxoSmithKline Beecham. The challenge which I face once I have started working from home is that when it comes to salary negotiation,
Mhm.
the interview goes well, the first round, the second round. In the past 1 month, this is what I have faced with very good companies. One is a US company. I still have, today is the last day I should be signing the offer letter. The amount which has been offered is pretty less, pretty less in the sense, what reason I was given is that we are a startup company. However, during the interview procedure, I was told that that company is growing at XYZ rate, we are that, we are this. But and why aren't we paid well when it comes to work from home, and why is that given as a reason? I find that startup is a word which is given as an excuse, and working from home you have that privilege. But why does it affect the remuneration part when we are putting our best, in the work what we have been asked for?
Right. With a very valid question. I'm smiling when you ask this question. I hope I was able to do a video chat with all of them. Yeah. So I'm going to touch a very sensitive word called culture. Okay. India as a culture has a very low resilience for work from home. And I do want to call it out that it's just not women who face this. Let me also tell you, few male colleagues of mine who have taken a work from home option because to support their aged parents or ill parents or widowed, right? A few people who are single parents have faced the same issue as well. I would not really want to call it out because we are a woman and people find it really hard to accommodate us. I think it's more a culture driven in India that people have a long way to go between the fight of moral policing somebody on having the most of the resource or the labor arbitrage on the floor, right? It's a myth today, and I do acknowledge this to a greater extent that people find all of us more productive when we are on the floor versus while we are working on the home. But the the psychology is other way around when you go out of the India, that people work better, work from home because they feel obliged. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Because yeah,
yeah. Just to interrupt, that was a surprising part. The offer that I have is from a US company, and
yeah,
the like today is my last day of signing. And initially, when I worked for a Canadian company, I was paid for per hour.
yeah, right. Vidya, I think I lost you in between. I can't hear you, but I'll still try to answer that for you, Vidya. I think this is a rule in India. I'm assuming you're not outside of India, and hence I brought a very sensitive topic about a culture. I have less say when it comes to remuneration in a startup because they often try to make the most of the resources what they have within themselves, which is asset of the organization versus how they have to pay the remuneration to most of us. That is the reason why they call it out that, hey, I'm giving you a privilege of work from home, so I'll have to balance it out somewhere. But I think it's not fair to just say and put a gender behind it. You can always negotiate and ask them back that, hey, if I had to come back, will you increase my salary? That should be your negotiation skills. Saying that 18 months, if I stop working out of home, will you raise my salary since I'll be more productive on the floor? So, what is the deal? Will you give me a promotion? Compel them to negotiate for the salary, get it in writing, call it out a shot, so that you are setting expectation with them as well that if you have to come back to work and work out of office, are they ready to pay you? But be subtle and be respectful when we do so that we know that we are strong enough to negotiate salaries, and it's just not because I have a need to work from home. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hi. I want to ask a question there. My question is, I have taken a career break and I have upskilled myself. Now, what's happening is I'm getting calls and I have attended few interviews, but they are based on my old skill set. I'm trying to get back to development, having worked for TCS for around 7 years before. Now, what happens is like when I go for my old skill set, I clear all these interviews, but at the end, there is a kind of an expectation as to what role they want me to fit in. Maybe because in development, they see there is a gap. I don't understand. I have faced this 3 times. So where is the gap? Now, I have upskilled myself for the new technology. The question that I am asked frequently is, have you actually worked on real life projects? I have done some projects offline, but they are not for any company or as such. It's for my own learning. I have not portrayed them in my CV. So what do you recommend? Should I put those small projects that I have done from learning perspective? Of course, they are valuable. They increase my sellability, I would say, for my resume for the new technologies. Many companies don't even know about those things. The ones who know, they ask for, have you done it for a company? I didn't get paid for it, so how should I put it? Should I or should I not, is my question.
Sure, that's a very valid question, and I think it will answer most of the others' apprehension about why do we are so hung upon being overly. Eh, Honesty is not the best word I can use, but to answer your question, definitely yes. Without an iota of a doubt, it's a hard work. Put everything
Mm-hmm.
what you have done in the past on your resume, make it bold. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to tell the recruiters that we're not paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The reason why I say so is everything is not compensation oriented here, right? Let
Mm-hmm.
me give you a very, very minimum example what I can take of. My friend is into cutlery manners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cutlery manners. That is a very, very, not so unique what people have heard about it. I will tell you how it
Mm-hmm.
is unique. And when she puts it in a resume, it looks so unique, right? She trains all the executive leadership team from Ashok
Mm-hmm.
Vemuri to N. Chandra about how the
Mm-hmm.
cutlery manners should be when they're attending any of the professional dinners with Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not
Mm-hmm.
amazing?
It's certainly is.
So it's just a cutlery manners, though. All of us in a day-to-day life do not know what a cutlery manners can create it, right? So I think
Mm-hmm.
what we have to stick upon is how we are perceived. How is it
Mm-hmm.
seen? I think we have to excuse ourselves and also we have to give our permission to ourselves to let it out, be there on the resume bold of whatever you've done, and take a lot of pride in telling them what you have done. Explain it well and need not have to mention verbally about the remuneration unless been asked for with the credentials and the proofs. I would not be wise enough to tell, and people don't have to know about it. Rather, would that help you?
Okay. Because what happened is for my, I attended this jobs for her conference last month, and I
Mm-hmm.
spoke about the same. And from there, I got a call from Accenture actually. And the HR, when they were just talking to me about this new technology, they were recruiting for that. But then she asked me, "What's your work experience?" I said, "See,
Correct.
this is a new technology. I have upskilled myself during the career break. And obviously, I don't have a working experience for any company." And after that, I didn't hear back anything from them. So I'm really surprised as to how it should be taken forward.
No, I think there is a smart way of putting in the profile as well. Most of us, as I
Mm-hmm.
keep repeating, excuse yourself, and it is not a lie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in our DNA. We don't like to sell ourselves. Marketing is so not a gender for women. I think you need to make it bold. You need to make it loud on the profile of what you've been doing, and take a lot of pride in saying people what you've been doing. That should be your way of presenting in the resume. Don't shy away from mentioning that. Never.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next question is from Rashmi, who says, "How to upskill my teaching experience? I have a career break of about 7 years. Is there any refreshment course for teachers?"
Okay. So, Rashmi, I'm not sure what part of teaching you were into, school, college, or universities. What exactly was the teaching profession? I would encourage you to do a research on where you want to put your hands on. If I were you, first I want to know what makes me happy. While being financially independent is a motto, but I'm very mindful of the fact that I want to be happy, because after 7 years, there are a lot of pressure about how will I cope up with the skill set, what are my social obligations, financial and personal obligations. So, keeping all the factors and the mergers which impacts me, I would first want to put my hands on research saying what makes me happy when I want to come back. So if I have to upskill in schools and colleges, I would want to see if Digiboard education will help you, because most of the schools have gone digital right now, and explaining things in the Digiboard is so happening in schools nowadays. That is one of the options. If you're in a university or if you're in a college, I think I would encourage you to go and write a blogs online about what you've been doing so far. Writing the blogs will entail people to know that you're knowledgeable and you have done it in the past, and will create them a compelling story to call you back to the work. That's how you keep yourself updated. I would also ask you to read the blogs about education industry. 7 years is not a too much of a gap to encourage you that, because in all the syllabus we have not changed a big uh, or we have not taken a huge leap. We have taken a leap which is more meaningful. We have taken a leap to condense the syllabus. We have not taken the leap to add on the syllabus, which is very content driven. So that should encourage you to look forward to come back to work. If you have any specific questions, I would encourage you to write back to me. I will be able to help you out. Thank you so much.
The next one is from Vatsala, who says, "Should we specifically mention our career break by ourselves in the resume and write about the that we upskilled in our break? I have 14 years break. I was a fashion merchandiser. I have faced several interviews from past 4 to 5 months, even after being in touch with tips by jobs for her. Interviewers are not even ready to listen about our interest in coming back or restarting. Can I try in a different field or an other than fashion industry using my merchandising skills?"
Right. Very valid question again. Uh, being outrightly honest and bold, right, about our resumes. I would encourage all of us who were in the field of practicing, whether it is fashion, being a law practitioner, doctors, teachers, write more about how your freelancing has helped you to stay in touch with your skill set. That should be your mantra. That should be your mojo factors of letting people know that you have not lost touch of working. You need to mention you are a freelancer about whatever the domain skill set you carry, and also put across the projects what you've handled while you were a freelancer. Lot many people who are in designing industry do a freelancing. They also have a very good habit of making a referenceability. I would really encourage this, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my previous comments as well, that Please keep your referenceability on the resume, and the social media connects what you have, which should mean the work what you have done for anybody, even if it is without remuneration or it's a goodwill gesture. Have the person talk about you in a social media. It builds a lot of connect point and a sales point for you to put it in a profile, and that should help you to kill the myth that you have taken a break, right? As I keep saying, there's nothing called as a break. It is a time off well deserved for yourself, and you've been doing what you did in the past. I hope that helps. Yeah.
Thank you. The next one is from Ramya: how to make use of freelance work from home or part-time opportunities to get back.
I'm sorry, voice was very feeble, Gayatri.
Well,
Part time work?
yeah, I would repeat. It says how to make use of freelance work from home or part-time opportunities to get back.
Absolutely. So when when somebody is working from home or keeping in touch with the skill set, that means the person is still doing the work what the person has been practicing or have learned in their academics. So put that in your profile very loud. Say what you've been doing in the past and while you're working from home. And I would encourage all of us, unless it is called for, not to mention work from home as a key factor. I think there's no guilt. There's no guilt working out of home. I have so many of the CEOs who work out of home, being not a woman gender as well. So absolutely fine to work out of home while you're taking care of your personal priorities. Unless asked for, I will not be too keen on exploring and mentioning it proactively working out of home, right? All that it matters for a recruiter to know is you were working and you were working on a skill set which you practice in your academics. I think when you call it out loud, that should attract some of the recruiters to call you for a job interviews. I hope that was helpful. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is from Prerna, who says, I have 7 to 8 months gap after 7 years of experience. Meanwhile, I am upgrading my skills and completed my certification in HR industry training and worked with one company for 3 months. I just want a suggestion. Should I mention 3 months experience in my resume about internship done during my certification course?
Any mention of a company where you work is an added advantage for a recruiter to understand that you are in a professional environment. So I would not hesitate to mention that even if it's a small stint. However, do mention a reason why you exited and do have a compelling story ready for your exit. I have my friend who had a series of incidents filled in her life. I'm sorry, I know I'm taking time, giving the time check here. This is the last one I promise on the story. She lost her mother while she was earning, got married, took a break for marriage, took a break for maternity, lost her first son, took a break. She had a very traumatized divorce, took a break to manage her son's emotions. There are issues, there are personal priorities. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be even happy that you're going back to your parents to take care of them. Anything, what any kind of a break is absolutely fine. No one need to be very conscious about it or need to call it out louder. It's very personal to oneself, irrespective of the gender. What I have been commenting in the past 45 minutes is how do you display that in your resume? How do you make it a compelling story for somebody to understand that you had a need to take that break? So your 3 months stint to come back is not a great, problem right now. You can go ahead and mention. However, I would caution you to mention why there was an exit and what is the experience that you gained out of 3 months. You want to be more productive in explaining the profile about what have you learned, and if you have any positive work experience where you want to put some references down there with the telephone numbers and links, I would encourage you to go ahead and put them. Yeah.
Okay. We're coming to the end of the session, so we can just take up another two questions. The first one is from Seshu saying, upskilling is the best that could be done on a break. However, how do we project it to the interviewers, especially if there are no certificate or any proofs, but upskilling was self-study? Please advise.
Right. So upskilling without a certificate, I'm not sure what kind of upskilling are you talking about. Is it a soft skills? Are you saying? but there will be a soft benefit what you have acquired because of the upskilling. For example, if you have attended a YouTube session and spent a number of hours watching a YouTube training session on managing the stress, there are soft benefit what you have achieved by watching the YouTube session on stress busters. I would encourage all of us to mention the benefit if there is no certificate attached to it. That what is the benefit that one has gained because of the soft skill or because of the upskill what a person has gained during the break. The benefit should talk as to you are geared up for the next role already. You are geared up to take up that role already because you have worked through that upskilling process. I hope this helps.
Great. The next one is from Kavita. Says, I have 9 years of experience in strategy, business planning, MIS implementation of various strategic initiatives. I was on a career break for 4 years and want to join back, but not getting calls for this profile. Should I consider going for a shift to HR after doing a regular MBA initially? Should I do a short term course in HR or will I have to do a part time MBA in HR?
I would like to answer in two folds. Going back to what makes you happy, and 9 years is a very long investment on one's career. Uh, think through if you want to divert your domain. I would not want us to be very vulnerable of the situation and take the diversion. That is the last thing anybody would want to face it. Even if it is a short interim wait to get what you want, I would insist you to wait for your dream job than to having diverted for um, very short gain. But however, to answer your question, go ahead and mention that in the profile. You can upskill in what you have done in MIS. Your HR certifications are already there. So it would not make sense for you to go ahead and do upskilling on the HR, but do what you have done already, which is speaking experience, and which can talk more in the resume as well. Again, you need to mention that upskilling in the relativity of the experience what you carry so that you are able to get the call letters from the recruiters. Thank you.
Manorama, this is the last question. So, all leading companies require hands-on experience. Even I upgrade with latest technologies. Before adding technical interview, HR said, "Sorry, will not accept it," and bill you. Is it scenario created by client or by billing person here in India? In fact, in abroad, they understand and accept talented women after 15 years of break. What is your suggestion and how to
15
approach?
years of break and what? Right. Thanks, Gayatri. 15 years of break and what's the domain the person has done?
Uh, she says latest technologies. So, Tulsi, I see that you're unmuted your line. Can you just brief us a little bit on that?
Hello, Tulasi here.
Yeah.
That was
I have done, I'm a senior software engineer in quality.
Tulsi, I think you might want to be very specific about what is upskill that you have done during the break. And again, I want to go back to our previous discussions where many other have asked whether you want to really mention it as a break, right? You might have done so much of initiatives and projects during your break time. I would encourage you to go ahead and mention it and also specify the timelines. For example, if you say 15 years of gap, people will obviously feel that it's a long break. While if you want to say that I have worked on XYZ technology during these 15 years, it will make the compelling story for them to stay connected with the world. Going back to my earlier discussions as to how do you want to tell a compelling story about staying back or connecting back with the world, right? That makes it a very compelling story. If you're going to call it out as 15 years of break, that gives a very negative impact on the profile. I would encourage you to go ahead and put the projects, what you've done during these 15 years, put it in a very formal and have a small benefits which you might have arrived post the projects. Especially with technology, you have so many achievements which you gain after doing the projects. Mention that and call it out. I'm sure you will get a couple of the call list from the recruiters. Um, Feel free to send me your resume. Gayatri can help you with the email IDs as well. I will try to dig out a couple of websites where technology driven hiring, especially for women, is happening. I hope this helps.
Thank you so much, Manorama. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure everyone out here would have gained that insight as to where exactly do they approach and how to get back to that career with, which was just there, the doubt that was there in their mind, as in whether the companies will accept them. I'm sure all those doubts would have been cleared in this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gayatri, and I think it's a wonderful team with a lot of interaction. I've never seen a team being so interactive. It's a wonderful session. Thank you so much for having me here. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for attending this session. As Manorama said, we have a R3 roadshow happening at the uh, 25th of November in Bangalore, where we have Manorama as well, who's going to be one of the mentors there. So it is a right time for you all to get personally connected to these mentors. So please be there. To get to the event, you have to register yourself on our portal. Also, we're going to leave a repost of this webinar on the Facebook page. So please leave your comments and feedbacks and takeaways of this webinar on over there. Visit our new reskilling vertical on Jobs for Her portal to upskill yourself. We have a lot of courses added to that vertical for you all to upskill and return back to work. We also have expert services like resume writing and career counseling. Do visit the page and gain the most out of it. Thank you, and it was a great session.